Ragnarok Origin ROO Valhalla World Cup is the pinnacle of ROO tournaments. The best guilds and adventurers across all servers are gearing up for the ultimate clash. The tournament includes Guild League, Eliminations, and offline Grand Finals. The Guild League and Eliminations are based on the in-game Guild League. The 8 guilds of Bright Sun rank can participate in the cross-server league, Major League. In Major League, after each week's matches, summit points are awarded based on the rank and ranking. The top 32 guilds and points can advance to the Eliminations. The ranking is based on their points earned in cross-server league, and they will compete in a single elimination bracket with matchups arranged as number 1 versus number 32, number 2 versus number 31, number 3 versus number 30, and so forth. The top 2 guilds from each division can advance to the offline Grand Finals. Offline Grand Finals are based on the in-game Dimension Drill. While the Grand Finals will feature a double elimination format. 8 guilds from 4 regions will be drawn into group matches, ensuring no guilds from the same region are in one group. The champion will ultimately be determined from these group matches. The first World Championship of Ragnarok Origin, ROO. Claim the crown in Ultimate Clashes. Ragnarok Origin ROO. Valhalla World Cup is the pinnacle of ROO tournaments. The best guilds and adventurers across all servers are gearing up for the ultimate clash. The tournament includes Guild League, Eliminations, and offline Grand Finals. The Guild League and Eliminations are based on the in-game Guild League. The 8 guilds of Bright Sun rank can participate in the cross-server league, Major League. In Major League, after each week's matches, summit points are awarded based on the rank and ranking. The top 32 guilds and points can advance to the Eliminations. The ranking is based on their points earned in cross-server league, and they will compete in a single elimination bracket with matchups arranged as number 1 versus number 32, number 2 versus number 31, number 3 versus number 30, and so forth. The top 2 guilds from each division can advance to the offline Grand Finals. Offline Grand Finals are based on the in-game Dimension Drill. While the Grand Finals will feature a double elimination format. 8 guilds from 4 regions will be drawn into group matches, ensuring no guilds from the same region are in one group. The champion will ultimately be determined from these group matches. The first World Championship of Ragnarok Origin, ROO. Claim the crown in Ultimate Clashes. Ragnarok Origin ROO Valhalla World Cup is the pinnacle of ROO tournaments. The best guilds and adventurers across all servers are gearing up for the ultimate clash. The tournament includes Guild League, Eliminations, and offline Grand Finals. The Guild League and Eliminations are based on the in-game Guild League. The 8 guilds of Bright Sun rank can participate in the cross-server league, Major League. In Major League, after each week's matches, summit points are awarded based on the rank and ranking. The top 32 guilds and points can advance to the Eliminations. The ranking is based on their points earned in cross-server league, and they will compete in a single elimination bracket with matchups arranged as number 1 versus number 32, number 2 versus number 31, number 3 versus number 30, and so forth. The top 2 guilds from each division can advance to the offline Grand Finals. Offline Grand Finals are based on the in-game Dimension Drill, while the Grand Finals will feature a double elimination format. 8 guilds from 4 regions will be drawn into group matches, ensuring no guilds from the same region are in one group. The champion will ultimately be determined from these group matches. The first World Championship of Ragnarok Origin ROO. Claim the crown in Ultimate Clashes. Ragnarok Origin ROO, Valhalla World Cup, is the pinnacle of ROO tournaments. The best guilds and adventurers across all servers are gearing up for the ultimate clash. The tournament includes Guild League, Eliminations, and offline Grand Finals. The Guild League and Eliminations are based on the in-game Guild League. The 8 guilds of Bright Sun rank can participate in the cross-server league, Major League. In Major League, after each week's matches, summit points are awarded based on the rank and ranking. The top 32 guilds and points can advance to the Eliminations. The ranking is based on their points earned in cross-server league, and they will compete in a single elimination bracket with matchups arranged as number 1 versus number 32, number 2 versus number 31, number 3 versus number 30, and so forth. The top 2 guilds from each division can advance to the offline Grand Finals. Offline Grand Finals are based on the in-game Dimension Drill. While the Grand Finals will feature a double elimination format. 8 guilds from 4 regions will be drawn into group matches, ensuring no guilds from the same region are in one group. The champion will ultimately be determined from these group matches. The first World Championship of Ragnarok Origin, ROO. Claim the crown in Ultimate Clashes. Ragnarok Origin ROO Valhalla World Cup is the pinnacle of ROO tournaments. The best guilds and adventurers across all servers are gearing up for the ultimate clash. The tournament includes Guild League, Eliminations, and offline Grand Finals. The Guild League and Eliminations are based on the in-game Guild League. The 8 guilds of Bright Sun rank can participate in the cross-server league, Major League. In Major League, after each week's matches, summit points are awarded based on the rank and ranking. The top 32 guilds and points can advance to the Eliminations. The ranking is based on their points earned in cross-server league, and they will compete in a single elimination bracket with matchups arranged as number 1 versus number 32, number 2 versus number 31, number 3 versus number 30, and so forth. The top 2 guilds from each division can advance to the offline Grand Finals. Offline Grand Finals are based on the in-game Dimension Drill, while the Grand Finals will feature a double elimination format. 8 guilds from 4 regions will be drawn into group matches, ensuring no guilds from the same region are in one group. The champion will ultimately be determined from these group matches. The first World Championship of Ragnarok Origin ROO. Claim the crown in Ultimate Clashes.
Good evening, everyone that is watching us tonight. Welcome to the first Global Valhalla tournament of the Ragnarok Origin. I'm Sagara, and today I'm here with my good friend from Frontera 5.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rolo, your co-commenter for today's exciting match. We have a great match ahead of us today with Boba Cats and Legion.
Yes, both teams are super strong. They are very famous in our server, in our region, actually. One of them is the famous Boba Cats, the guild that won the Odin Cup. And on the other side, we like to call them the Super Legion because they are a marriage between several stronger players that came together in one guild, and now they are on the semi-final on verge to go to Bangkok. But well, first we want to thank the Razer Gold, which is our main support, our main sponsor for this event. Well, it is one of the ways that we do the recharging game, and I think it is the best way. Do you use Razer Gold, Rolo?
I do use Razer Gold. Yeah, I think we get a small discount when we use Razer Gold. I
Yes,
think it's
we
a
do.
5% discount in the US. And then we do get some Razer, I think the silver currency as well, which you can buy in-game stuff but you can also get I think Razer merchandise, so keyboards and microphones and whatnot. So I think I do have that's how I got some of my equipment. So it's a great way to top up in game and also get some of your sweet equipment for your PC.
Yes, they're amazing. I mean, they have been with us since the beginning, so they are a great partnership. And again, we are thanks for all the support they give to us. Well, but anyway, moving on. Today is the last day of the tournament here for our regional, and I'm super excited. We already saw so many good games, and today is going to be the last one. Today is the last best of three, the best of three that is going to decide the fate of our server. We already have one of the grand finalists, which is the Trinity, another amazing guild. They are the representative from the Frontera 5, which we already mentioned. I think they are the strongest server in our game because they are the only server that always provide at least two very good guilds.
Yep, and when you talk about Legion and Boba Cats, and comparing them to Trinity and Eternity, there are many players who played previously in the NA server for years and years in Boba Cats, in Trinity, and in Eternity. But Legion leadership and majority of their players are new to Latin America and this game in general. So they are one of the biggest underdogs for this whole entire tournament.
Yes, I mean, well, they are super good. They are very strong. But before we continue to talk about them, let's talk about the Valhalla rules, guys. So as many of you know, Valhalla is the biggest tournament ever for any MMORPG, and specifically for our game, is going to bring together all servers. So we're gonna have players from Taiwan, Hong Kong, Macau, from Southeast Asia. We also have players from the mainland China and of course players from our region. And how this is going to work? Every server, every region is going to send two guilds to participate on the offline event in Bangkok, in Thailand. And in there's going to be, well, a new format which is going to happen between 10 players against 10 players. It's going to be similar to what we already had on the Dimensional, but for you to go there, you need to play in a guild first. And in our case, one of the guild is Trinity, and another one is going to be decided today.
Yep, and I think they recently just released some of the Valhalla rules. At the date that's going to be on December 7th and 8th. So the dates are established. The rules, people will have the same level tier feathers. They'll have the same refine of gear. Everything is going to be the same for how players are set up. And all classes are actually going to be available. So in North America, we have, I believe, a few classes that are out that are not out yet. And that's 6 of them: Wanderer, Maestro, Dorams, and some other classes. So we're gonna have, I mean, North American players are slightly at a disadvantage for this match, but they're doing well. They have 1 month to learn all 6 classes and all the mechanics and compete against many of the servers in Asia.
Yes, and now on your screen you can see the continue of the rules, guys. Well, you can see that some stuff here is, are very easy for you to understand. The guilds for each region, they cannot play against each other on the first match, which means Trinity and the other guild that is going to be decided today, they won't be faced against each other on the first match, only moving forward. So this is a very good format because we want to see players from our region playing against the guys from China, from the C server, and from the Taiwan as well. And another very cool thing about this is we have a double elimination bracket. As you can see, even if you lose one match, you're gonna have another chance on the lower bracket. And as we mentioned, you can see on your screen how this is going to work. So it doesn't matter if you lose one match, you still have a long way to go and you have a second chance to go to the grand final. And I mean, I do love this double elimination bracket.
Yep, and double elimination brackets really going to help a lot of teams if they make mistakes in the first match, or if they haven't really studied the meta, they're able to play and watch other matches and pick up what they can before they play their next match. And looking into the comment reward rules, make sure you guys go onto the Valhalla website and leave a comment, support your team, or express your thoughts to get some awesome rewards. Today's reward, if you comment, is going to be a Crest of Freedom and Eden chest. So take the time to log on, hop in through Facebook, and then leave a comment so you can claim your sweet rewards.
Yes, this is very important, guys, because the last reward is amazing. The badge that we are gonna use for our mount is something that everyone wants. It doesn't matter if you are a whale, if you are a free-to-play, because this is the new progression that we have in our game, and it is going to power your character a lot. And not to mention, these are all the codes that we're gonna get today, guys. So you can see that some of the codes are going to give more Heart of Valor, some of the codes are going to give some hero token, and the last code is going to give you a Titanium 4, which is going to reset your Smeldon, and maybe you'll be able to get their core that you always desire.
Yep, and mounts recently came out, so this is a good time to get your mount mats and to upgrade as fast as you can so you can catch up with a lot of the other players who are trying to get ahead of the game and dominate.
Yes, this is very good. What level is your mount, by the way? Your equipment mount?
My equipment mount, I think I am level 30 for my PDEF, and everything else is like level 15-ish. So I'm getting up there, but you know, I'm trying to free to play this, so I'm gonna be one of those people who are gonna be trying to claim all these rewards just so I can min-max my points.
Oh, that's good. It's similar to mine. So guys, so now we have our first code for the evening. So just go inside your game, guys, go to rewards, go to redeem, and type up your code. This is the first for tonight. We are gonna have plenty more to go. And well, as soon as the stream is over, I'm also going to collect because I do need some badges. I definitely need because, well, I'm just going as a low spender here. And well, each badge, each code matters for me.
Yep, same. And a lot of these codes are going to be posted in the official RRO Discord as well. So if you miss it here, feel free to take it from there as well.
Yes, you're right. By the way, you point up something really good, guys. If you are not on our Discord yet, please join because all the good informations are there. And now on your screen, we have the top 8 guilds, the top 8 strongest guilds for our region. We have Boba Cats, Eternity, Kitsune, Legion, Seasons, Sugar, Trinity, and Who Cares? As you all know, the top 4 guilds were Boba Cats, Eternity, Legion, and Trinity. And today we are also going to have another top 2. What is your favorite logo here, Rolo?
My favorite logo is probably Who Cares. I used to play a lot of Ragnarok 1 competitions, and Who Cares is one of the logos that closely matches to how all the classic guilds design their logos. So it's very classic.
Oh yes, definitely. The name is also very classic, and we already saw a lot of guilds using the name. Well, they are all really good. And now we have the bracket. You can see the top 32 to top 16. You can see all the guilds that won the first match. We have, I want to point out one specific match here, which was the Lunchbox against Seconds. Seconds was able to win this first round 32, and the match was super close. It was decided on the L Baron, and if you did watch, you can check in your channels, in your one of your YouTubers, and go watch because this match was nail beating.
Yeah, a lot of these good matches, a lot of the close ones for these matches ended up in having to be determined by MVPs. And looking at the 8-4 matches, I think when we saw the Legion against Seasons match, that was up to the MVP as well. So very close
Yes.
matches, a lot of strategy, focused on rotations and sandwiching guilds, mobs, and ultimately it gets too close to the point where the winning team has to get MVP in order to win.
Yes, you are right. I mean, MVP is one of the biggest part in your format nowadays because it's going to give you 500 points, and that's a lot because you don't only start with 3k, so 500 is 1/6, so that's really really good. And if you play your cards correct and you go to a baron, you do a good setup, you'll be able to secure it. Well, so as you all know, guys, the Trinity won against the Eternity was 2-0. It was a close match, specifically when we talk about the first one. On the second one, Trinity come back really really strong, and they were able to shut down all the strategy that Eternity was able to put. Well, either way, it was a great match, but today the match is going to be even better because Legion, even though Rolo already mentioned they are new to the game, they are not very experienced compared to Boba Cats, but they do have the classes, they do have the power to actually go toe-to-toe to Boba Cats. I'm sure that we're gonna see the power very soon between these two guilds, and I assume this is going to be really close.
Yep, both guilds are hungry for a Valhalla slot, and when they take the stage, we're going to see a lot of, I think, a lot of aggression from both guilds. They both have a lot of firepower. They both have the manpower to play and implement strategies that are needed. So we're going to see a lot of good gameplay. Actually, when you really think about it, in the preliminary stages, both guilds have played together, and I think Boba Cats has won most of the time, but they had Yveltal at that stage. But on Legion's side, they haven't. They had not picked up a lot of their core players. I think Suncho was still in a different guild. So we're gonna see this match, and we're gonna see what difference a lot of new players from Legion can make.
Yes, you're right. But one thing that we're also going to check today is the difference into the meta. We're gonna see the Boba Cats is already adapted to the meta. We're gonna see a lot of generic. We're also going to be a lot of Shadow Chaser. But now we're going to introduce the Boba Cats. The guild leader is Modane, the vice leader is Kia, Reader, the commander is Jacob, the Charisma Babies, Synchronize, and the officers we have Linsanity, Chaos, Bunk. We also have Elite Warrior, Ivital. We also have Chatu. We have Minabel. And also we have Amaber, one of the strongest priests in the whole game. And also we have Pitoy, also a very, very good generic. And I think if he's a generic, he's just swapped to specific for this match.
On Legion side, we have Vici, we have Luminosity, Henry, God Henry for Vice Master, Commander Brody, Curzon Baby, Sukiyaki. We have officers Warner Beck, Empress Kali, and Elite Warrior Wesley Jr., Freggy, Joyce Sierra, very strong RK, Elite Warrior Nora, and Sancho. So a lot of powerful and high DPS players in this lineup.
Yes, they are all very well known as well. And check the power, guys. Like we mentioned, I thought that the power was going to be similar, and they are definitely similar. You can see that even in power, Legion is coming on top of the guys from the Boba Cats. But like Rolo already mentioned, and we already talked about, Boba Cats has the knowledge. Let's see if the Legion is going to be able to actually put up a good fight here, put up a good strategy, and most important, do a very adaptation about the meta. Because based on the last match against Seasons, they were still going for the previous meta, so they had a lot of Warlock, they had a lot of Rune Knight, and they did have too many generic, they did have too many Shadow Chaser, which is the strongest physical DPS in the meta at the moment.
Yeah, and with both teams having faced each other, something that I have noticed is that Legion is a guild that constantly improves. They might not have legacy players, but they're slowly understanding mechanics better and better each time. Definitely the underdogs for this competition. But fighting against Boba, who is an established guild, you know what to expect from them. You know how they're gonna play. You know their lineup. But they do it so well that it doesn't matter what you do, because it's felt like the entire season one for Odin's, and after that, their builds are solid. They have strong players who can be DPS, and in the top guilds, and they even have a lot of their strong players playing support, which makes it incredibly hard to kill them. But yet their impacts are so strong. Their movements, they connect. Rotations
Yes.
are smooth, and everyone, they still, even though all that, guilds are still dying to them, and the only way to beat them has been, I think, historically, they've in situations where they've been outwhaled, and they're just very efficient around the map.
Yes, you're right. And now on your screen, you can see the Elite Warriors that we already showed to you guys. These are the top 5 power in the Boba Cats. You can see the
Shadow Chasers.
specific, yes, and one High Priest, guys. So we have one Archbishop that is, I think he's the strongest Archbishop in the whole game at the moment, at least in power, of course. And you can see that he's almost 800k. This guy is super, super tanky. I'm sure that you already saw him on Thor Cup and Odin Cup, but Bear is a powerhouse. And not to mention the 3 Shadow Chaser, Ivital, who is already very famous, also Shadow, and now we also have Minabel, who used to play a sniper. And of course, it's very important to mention Linsanity, one of the most famous warlock in your region as well.
Yep, and the Bear plus Yveltal combo is very strong when players are, when you kill one, they come back up. So it's a very strong combination.
Yes, it is. And they usually play together. And now you can see the logo from the Boba Cats and also the Elite Warriors using the Nidor costume, which is beautiful.
Wow, look at that.
It's amazing. It's super pretty. Is your character a male or a female in game, Rolo?
I've always played male characters, but if I think as a min-maxer, if the female animation was faster than the male, I would definitely go female just so I can spam more skills.
Fair enough, fair enough. I agree. I would do the same. But I'll usually go for male characters as well. But both are very, very good. And now we're gonna show you the Elite Warriors from the opponent guild, which is Legion. And you can see the top 1 is Freddy. Wesley Jr. is top 2. Henry, a very, very famous player that used to play Rune Knight, is the top 3. Also, Vichy, the guild leader, is top 4. And top 5 is Nora, one of the new players. Actually, not really new because he's already in the guild for 1 month, maybe 2. I'm not really sure.
Yep. If built right, this guild actually has a lot of diversity when you look at a type of damage. Lots of magic. I mean, you don't see Josieta, you don't see a few of the other players who are heavy physical, but this guild has a lot of diversity in their damage. So when you try to build against magic, they have physical. When you try to build against physical, they have magic. So it's definitely a guild that, once built right, is going to be a force to really reckon with.
Yes, and they are very PvP oriented because all of them is always playing on the PvP. So if you go to PvP, after any GVG, you're gonna see at least 2 or 3 guys. Vichy is one of the players that I always face there. Also, Henry is very famous to be there as well, Joy Set as well. And now we're gonna see the 5 elite players from the Legion guys using their amazing costume. I mean, they should just do a giveaway to us, right? I mean, this look is amazing.
I'd sign up for that. I'd sign up for that giveaway. And look at the Legion emblem right behind them. It kind of matches the whole scene.
Yes, the outfit, yeah, is actually really, really cool using the logo. And now we have the guild leaders. Yes, for the Boba Cats. And you can see in the middle the guild leader Mudeng. And on the left side, Skia, a very famous player, used to be the strongest mechanic, and now she just swapped to generic. On the right side, we have Reader, Charisma Baby J, and the commander is Jayco.
Yep, and a lot of these members from Boba Cats also were part of the Thor's Cup Season 1 winning team. So Skia was from there. In this lineup, you see their voice caller Reader, you see Skia, who is the person who knows all the mechanics for their guild. So definitely a stacked team when it comes to fundamental knowledge of this game.
Yes, you're right. And now we're gonna see the officers. We have Insanity, Lemonade, Cass, and Gold Crown. And what do you have to say about this player, Rolo? I know you still know some of them.
I think something to notice is that last match, Linsanity was actually playing as a magic genetic. So he going back to a warlock means that I think that's a good move. When you look at the lineup for Boba Cats, they are predominantly physical damage. So going back to a warlock for Linsanity is a good choice to kind of diversify their damage output.
Yes, I agree. From what I noticed, based on what I used to play against Linsanity, and I faced her a few times on the War of Imperial, every time that she plays as the generic, the magic DPS, is really strong, is really good, but sometimes it lacks damage to burst a specific player. As Warlock, she does not have the AoE, but I mean, she does have the AoE, but not similar to generic, but she definitely has the burst.
Yep, and looking at Legion's lineup, looking from Beachy, their Guildmaster, Luminosity, Henry, all Shadow Chaser, Sukiyaki, Warner back. So heavy physical, but just because you're a Shadow Chaser doesn't mean you have to run full DPS. The capability for Shadow Chasers to run crowd control and status is very strong. So we won't know till the match starts, but these builds, Masquerade build, Lurker build, depending on what they're running, can have a lot of good impact.
Yes, you're right. I mean, people usually run the Lurker build nowadays, at least in your server. I was watching some replays and some matches on the C server, and most of them are actually going for the Masquerade, because it's most single target, but it's super burst, and you need to have a complete control of your character and know when to use the skills so you can actually max your damage. Otherwise, you won't be able to actually burst anyone and you're just going to get killed.
Yep, and when it comes to Mask versus Lurker build, you can counter one and then they can just go the other. And so if you have lots of strong Shadow Chasers, you want to try to diversify who's running Mask, who's running Lurker. Because one does shadow damage, one can focus on another element, one strips, and is better for single target, and one's better for AoE. Looking at the guild leaders for Legion, other than Vici, we have Empress Kali, who's an officer, Boss Malki, Mika, and Brody. So still a strong stack from this team as well.
Yes, and you can see
together.
Yes, and you can see they have a lot of different classes as well. And even though, like we mentioned, they are going for the focus on the Warlock, and now you can see that some of the key players swap from the Rune Knight to the Shadow Chaser. So this is the first time that we are actually going to see them playing in full strength, going and adapting to the meta. And well, the first match is going to tell a big story for us. But before we go to the first match, this is the second code, guys. So note this on, go inside your game, go to reward again, go to redeem, and redeem this second code, because I don't actually remember what the second code is going to give you, but it is really good.
Yep, just keep on stacking the codes. It's all free, and it's always nice to have whatever you get, whether it be pet coupons, card pulls. It's always nice to get whatever you can to build up your characters.
Yes, you're right, especially if you are a low spender, because every coupon counts, every badge counts, literally everything counts, because if you want to get stronger, you need everything that the game is going to provide you, especially if they're going to give you for free. And this specific code is super good, so don't forget to check this out, okay? So, going back to the first game, Rolo, you are also a guild leader, and what exactly people need to talk about, especially when you are going against a team that is favored, like the Boba Cats here?
You're gonna have to kind of figure out what they plan on doing. I think historically, Boba Cats is known to essentially sandwich guilds. So they'll have a main force on one side, and then Yveltal and SCs will be behind you. So what Legion needs to answer is how are we going to deal with that when we get hit in the back? What's our answer for it? And if Legion can't answer that, then they're gonna be their priests are gonna be dropping. Their support line is gonna go down. So They have to consider what strategies that Boba Cats has run in the past. I mean, and that's a thing when you're an established guild. Everyone looks into you. Everyone knows what you're doing. The question is, what are you going to do about it?
Yes, you're right. And one thing that always you can see from the Boba Cats is they always force the middle. So it doesn't matter against who they are playing, they always go for middle because they are very confident in their roster. They have some super strong players, and I think they only lost 2 or 3 times in the whole game so far. So 9 months of the game, they only lost 3 times. So this just shows how dominant they are. And for Legion, they can try to do something different. They can try to avoid fighting for Moon at first and then going only for Sun and Star and then try to sandwich them into the Moon. Or maybe they can try to something different, some confidence, and try to go for Moon, because if they somehow win the first battle, I think they're gonna get a huge boost in their confidence.
Definitely. And what Boba Cats has developed are they have lots of what I would call rocks of the team, where they have core players who play very risky roles, but they're able to execute reliable, they're very reliable and they're able to make plays and initiate, such as Vivital, so those playmakers really make a huge difference for Boba Cats. And Legion needs to be able to answer that and also have their own playmakers in order to really get an advantage in this game.
Yes, you're right. And well, you already mentioned Ivitel. I think we're gonna have some players that we need to highlight during the match. Ivitel is definitely one of them from the Boba Cats. From the side of Legion, I would say Vici, Nora, Joyceta, and Henry are the guys that we need to keep an eye on, because we have 2 Warlocks and 2 Shadow Chases that can make a huge difference. And now on your screen, we already have the preparation time left, guys, and we can see on your minimap that most of the Legion guys is already on the map. So on your screen, guys, the green guild at the moment is Legion. The orange guild is Boba Cats, okay? So on the left side, we have the power of the Legion, and on the right side, the power of the Boba Cats.
Yep, and you see lots of Boba Cats moving around now, probably gathering information, positioning of where Legion is, and pointing it out. They have a good communication network. They have people who are calling out positions of the other guilds so they can react accordingly. But we're watching Henry right now, but it looks like when you look at the mini-map on the bottom right, you see lots of movements from both guilds now actually circling Moon, trying to change their strategy last minute or position correctly so they can win the first fight.
Yes, this first fight is very important for any guild, because if you start with in a good note, you'll be able to dominate and start to do the first movement. And you need to be proactive when you are facing a similar guild in power, or even a guild that is stronger than you, because every time that you do the first movement, the other guild need to respond, and is easier for you to make a mistake when you are just answer. And well, like you mentioned, you can see that all the guild's members are just circulating the middle. There is no one on the bottom right, on bottom left. Looks like they are going to focus in the middle, at least for now.
Yeah, looking at the positions of both guilds, it looks like the idea that they're going to be both doing is having maybe like one party conquer Sun or Star, and then focusing mostly on middle and conquering that point, which is very important, because getting the middle point and winning the first fight can lead you to snowballing. That's at that point you have your entire guild gathered together. The other guild might be split up because you wiped them all, and if you've been wiped and you cannot gather together, then you're going to be at a severe disadvantage as a guild can go from point to point as an entire stack of 35 to 40, killing you again and again. So this first fight is very important for both guilds.
Yes, Rolo, check the minimap. You can see some red dots, which is Legion. Yep. They are circling and going for the Sun. It looks like they're gonna get Star and Sun. Let's see, let's check the fight. And now the game just started, guys. You can see that Legion is already going for Star and Sun. Meantime, Boba Cats is just going for the middle. You can see the backup from the guys from the Boba Cats is already going to Sun. Let's see if they will be able to come here fast. But it was not enough. Even though they dropped some red statue on the back line, Amabel, you can see Mirabel on the back side as well. With Lumia, and they are already wiping the guys from Legion, because they don't have the numbers here.
Yep, Legion's getting wiped on one side, but on the other side, Legion has a stronger force that's trying to fight and slowly move towards the Moon. but Boba Cat is being able, they're placing precasts in the right spot and holding them back. We do see on the secondary field, Legion is ahead, but they're both getting, oh, they just got the 3,000 point mark, so they're getting their reduction buffs in the first map. But you can see Shadow actually doing a lot of work in the very middle, trying to fight off Fraggy. So that means that Fraggy is probably disabled. You see lots of precasts. Boba Cat is conquering points, and it looks like they're trying to take Star as well. So Legion is not grouping up correctly right now. They're coming from Moon, and Boba Cat is precasting towards Moon spawn point, so they're not able to make that connection.
Yes, they are making a huge mistake here, guys, because they just lost the Moon, and instead they start to respawn on Star. They went for Moon again, and the Moon is already locked, so they cannot get the Moon. That's why the Boba Cat was able to recap here. And another thing that was very important to mention, the Legion guys was trying to get the Moon, but they did have enough people there, because they were all over the place. They had some parties on Sun, some parties on Star, so they had to regroup and going for Moon. And now they are going to the Sun, but you can see the backup from Boba Cat is super strong, and they will get the backup here on time. And they already wiped the guys from the Legion. You can see that they didn't even use any Oblivion here. They just went and just wiped here.
Yeah, and that's one of the problems that Legion is having right now. They're doing a 20-20 strategy where they have 20 people on Sun, 20 people on Star, and they're trying to hold points like that. However, when a stack of 40 players from Bubble Cats comes into them, it's a very hard time, especially when Ybital or Shadow is right behind you and killing your backline at the same time.
Yes, and you can see now, again, guys, they are making another mistake. You can see the head dots in the minimap. They are all over the place. They only had 20, maybe 25 players here. In the meantime, Boba Cat is just moving as a unit. What the guys from Legion need to do, they need to drop more Oblivion between the Moon and the Star, between the Moon and the Sun. Otherwise, they won't be able to do anything here. You can see on the minimap again, only two players are getting the Sun. Actually, only one. So it's going to be super easy for the guys.
They're waiting until the point turns and then they're going on to it. So they're full aware of what is happening and they're reacting accordingly. They want Legion to send a few players to take points, and then that's when they're gonna reclaim it to punish them. A big fight happening in the middle.
Yes, but actually, the guys are just trying to go to the Star, because you can see again, only a few players are there, and the same mistake is happening on Star, guys. You can see there is only a few players defending on Star. Let's see if the backup from Boba is going to be fast enough. It looks like it wasn't. But in the meantime, you can see Ybital already killed 80 people here.
Yeah, 85 kill streak, and in terms of positioning, Legion is grouping up at a point where Ybital can just come in and wipe an entire group. They need to spread out a little bit, or else they're really going to get punished. They're moving,
yes.
And how Boba Cat is approaching fights is that they're not approaching from a single point. You see in their transitions, they're coming from the side. They're also coming from the south side. They're coming from the north. So they're not just they're spreading the damage. See over here as well. You see Boba Cat is spread out in their approach, which is causing the damage DPS overall from Legion to be split.
Yes, you're right, but now Legion needs to go to the middle, guys, because the reason they got 2 points now was because the guys from Boba Cat just forgot about the Sun. They lost the Star because the Legion just had the 30 seconds cooldown there, but for some reason the guys from Boba Cat just stayed there, just kept to wipe them, and it looks like they're just going to go for 2 tablets for now. And as soon as they got the Star, they just moved back to Sun, to Moon, and now it's going to be really hard for the guys from Legion to do anything here. And you can see there's only 30 seconds for the mobs, so it's time for both guilds to start to set up. And you can see a lot of plants, a lot of crazy weed in the middle, so it's going to be really hard for the guys from Legion to actually go next to middle.
Oh, looking at the secondary map, both teams have achieved 8,000 points, so they're good to go on that end. And at this point, they're just fighting for the mobs. So you'll see in the mini map, all 3 corners of the map, they're contesting for mobs and trying to get those points. For Legion, they want to catch up, and for Boba Cats, they want to deny those points from Legion from getting it all. And it looks like on this top right side, Boba Cats has acquired the mobs, and Legion has dropped significantly in points because of that. On the Star side, we see Boba Cats holding the points, reclaiming it, and I think they're going to be soon getting ready to push all the way to the Sun side.
Yes, in the meantime, you can see on the subfield, a huge battle is happening in the middle. Even though there is no mob there, you can see that both guilds are just fighting toe-to-toe, and the points and the kills are very similar. So, a great fight into the subfield. But on the main field, it's just going to be... It is a Boba Cat show. They even dropped a red statue on the right side, which is a very bad statue, by the way. But they had the totally control of the game. You can see most of them are in the middle. There are some people from the Legion guys going into start, but again, there is only one or two parties there, so it's very easy for the guys from Boba Cat to do the backup. But let's see if they are going to do that, because, well, it looks like they just chose to go to Sun, and they will finish the Sun here. They will close the Sun.
Taking a look at that approach, you saw Boba Cats coming from the front, from the south and right behind those two parties. So it was unfortunate that they weren't able to recognize that and fall back. But looking at the moon, Legion is trying to hold some space, but Boba Cat is all over the point and denying any possibility of getting this point.
Yes, and you can see that Boba Cat is always playing together, but the guys from Legion, especially the whales, you can see they are trying to be the hero here. You can see the Beach is by himself in the middle. So when you are playing alone against these very strong opponents, you cannot do anything here. And they are trying to get the Sun, and you can see they have two parties here, but the backup from Boba is just coming, and they're coming really fast and really strong. In the meantime, you can see Ivital is over 130 kills already.
Yep, he's in the bottom left of this fight, so right before Boba Cat even reaches them, they already trust that he's going to be there to clear the backline for Legion, and as soon as they come and they connect with him, it's just an easy clear for them.
Yes, it is. Again, I think Legion is lacking the control between the areas. Nora is also playing by herself in the bottom of your screen, so it was not a very smart move for her, but she needs to play with all the other ways, guys, because playing alone against this very strong guild is not going to be enough. And now what they need to do here is drop some Crazy Weed, because there is not a single Crazy Weed from the side of Legion. And Crazy Weed is super important to hold the point. And not only the Crazy Weed, but also Oblivion. In the meantime, you can see the Boba Cat is just pushing with the red statue. That High Priest even dropped a tree there to rest their members, and well, the guys from the Boba Cat is already wiping everyone from Legion on the start. In the meantime, they lost the Sun, but well, it's okay for them. And now on the subfield, you can see the fight for the Buffo, and it is super close in the battle.
It's incredibly close, and I think what you want to see here is that you want to see lots of precasts happening. You want to see crazy plants, and we're not seeing that much on the secondary field, but from Boba Cat on the main primary field, we see lots of crazy leads. We see lots of precasts down just to zone out the Legion players from moving forward, and that's been one of their biggest strengths ever since they were playing the Warlock meta in the High Wizard meta in Season 1 of Odin's. They're very good at spacing. They're very good at forcing guilds to fall back, which really protects their backline and also protects their stack.
Yes, and team play is the name of the game at the moment, guys. You can see that Boba Cat is always together, so you can see the supports always moving together as well. And the usage of the skill, you can see that every single plant from the generic, which boosts your damage, boosts your HP, boosts everything, is from the Boba Cat. You're also going to see a Crazy in the middle, the one that going to trap the opponent. They're also moving to start again. In the meantime, the guys from the Legion is trying to get another point here, guys. They're trying to hold Sun, but well, that's all they can do at the moment, because Boba Cat is already going for a star and they already wiped the point.
Yep, it seems like Boba Cats has this snowballed since the beginning. You know, winning that initial fight has given them the opportunity to stay together as a guild, and Legion needs to be able to group up together just to be able to take the fight. They have the equal buffs from secondary field. They just need to be able to set up their structure and fight accordingly. So moving on to the MVP, it's about to spawn in 16 seconds. This is going to decide the match. If Boba Cat, who is notorious for not getting MVP in the first place, manages to get this, they will immediately end the match.
Yes, you're right. On the minimap, you can see that Boba Cat is on the top right of the map, is also on the top left. So they are most focused on the mob now. They are not going for any points. So they just set up here, and they are already focused the old barrel. Let's see if this time they will be able to get the old barrel. They also got the mobs on the top right, top left. So there is only 200 points left for the Legion guys.
Yep,
and you can see some red stats dropping.
If you see Rit statues, you see lots of precast from and defense. We have players who are focusing on MVP, but we see a lot of core players and supports trying to block Legion from coming in. That ends the match with Boba Cats winning with the first match.
Yes, so a great showing, but then and you can see they dominate the MVP era and they were able to actually get the MVP this time. So great showing, but then great strength by their team play and also amazing movement. We're gonna see the stats later on, but I'm sure they were able to get most of the mobs because every time they were on the right position on the right time. So we also want to mention that probably Ivital is going to be the top killer here. Shadow was also everywhere, and Lisanti, great showing by him as well.
Yep, it's a strong. Boba Cats is a strong guild that's able to play like that. They can split around the map. They're able to not only contest all 3 points at the same time, but they're also able to contest all 3 mob points at the same time. So it's definitely a hard guild. Lots of core players, lots of good team competitions, in order to counter anyone who really fights against them.
Yes, they usually do the spread strategy, so everyone knows what they need to do when they need to do. So every time that you need to go for the mobs, you always send 1, maybe 2 parties. In your screen, we are watching the reader party, so they went there early. They were able to wipe everyone from Legion on the top right, and they were ready to drop the red statue at any time. So as soon as the mob spawned, they dropped the red statue, they got all the mobs, and they just left and got the star back. So great move by them.
Yep.
And in the end, they were also doing the same thing. They sent 2 parties to top right, 2 parties to top left, and they just used the flag to summon everyone to the old baron.
Yep, and I think one of the biggest things that I saw in this match was that when players group up, it's really, I mean, both guilds you see grouping up, but we don't really see this from Legion. We just saw this from Boba Cats, where Boba Cats was casting lots of crazy weeds under them. They had AoE players on them, so they were really punishing. Anytime Legion grouped up, it was just an opportunity for Boba Cats to punish them. And I think that's what we want to see from Legion next match, because Boba Cats is still operating under a big ball. And there's an opportunity to drop lots of AoEs and lots of crowd control under them, and we didn't really see that from Legion Game 1.
Yes, you're right. I mean, they do have a lot of strong players. They do know how to play the game, but they cannot play alone. You could see a lot of times that some star players from Legion was always by themselves. I'm not sure if they were just run to that position because all his party members just got killed, but it looks like they were always by themselves. So they need to play more together. Maybe like you said, try to force the middle, because even though the initial strategy was good, they start getting 2 tablets. As soon as the Boba Cats went to 1 point, they were able to get the sun and then run down the star and get the 3 tablets. And it was super hard for Legion to actually do anything about it, because they were always too split. So you could see some stronger players on the sun, very strong players on star, but again, it's only 1, maybe 2 parties against a whole guild, because you could see on the minimap all the Boba Cats were moving together. So it doesn't matter if you are the strongest player or if you are the weakest player on the guild, you just move together. And like you mentioned, they always had the AoE, they always had the support skill. So you could see the precast, you could see the crazy weeds doing a lot of work, and very, very important, they had a lot of Oblivion. So every time they were moving, they are dropping Oblivion so they could slow down the opponent.
Yep, and speaking of Oblivion, that's one of the things that you really have to control when you go against a guild that moves as a huge ball. Placing Oblivions to stop rotations is very important, and we did not see that from Legion at all. They used it in middle fights, they used it in star fights, but they should have used it to counter transitions and rotations. Looking at the main battlefield data, you see Boba Cats doing more than double the damage. The morale for secondary field was pretty even. Kills one third of Boba Cat's kills in Legions, and 51 monster kills in Boba Cats. That's huge, 510 points. So that means that Boba Cats was able to not only control those 3 tablet points, but also really conquer the 3 corners for monster spawns as well.
Yes, only on monster they got over 1k points, guys. So this is 1/3 of Legion life. So this is why it's so important for you to actually have a good setup for mobs. And well, again, Boba's play perfect on the mobs. That's why they were able to open a huge lead, even though they lost the opening start. And you can see the kills. Again, it doesn't matter if you have some of the strongest players in the whole game on Legion. they need to play together. They need to have a good support. Otherwise, they would just going to get killed by the very, very strong players that Boba also has. So again, this is a lesson for Legion. They will have to come with a new strategy here, with a new setup, and especially they will have to put their main DPS together. And now for the subfield, I would say the subfield was the most close match I ever seen for a subfield
It's
here.
very balanced.
Yes.
Almost
could
tied
see
in
the
Moss.
image in the
Everything's
middle.
almost tied.
Yes.
Yeah,
And look at the
typically you
damage,
would
the
see
morale.
one build in the middle, but in this case, we're seeing that it's a complete tie. Every time the screen moved to the second map, the middle, both guilds were trying to fight for the middle, and it looked like it was 50-50 every time. So it's very even. And I mean, that must be a really fun fight. That's a fight that I would want to be in.
Yes, me too. If I was playing on Legion, I would definitely want to play on the secondary because it looked like super fun. Especially if you are a very strong DPS, I'm sure that we're gonna see some highlights here, or maybe the top DPS from the teams, even the main field or the subfield. And I'm sure the main DPS from the Boba Cats, which is going to be shown, I think he got a lot of kills, a lot of assistance, and most important, a lot of DPS because it was super, super close, guys. So great job by the subfield from both guilds. But well, even though the subfield did well, the main field need to have some fix. They need to have some answer for the Boba Cat strategy.
Oh, exactly. You're right. Yevitals with 195 kills he's part of 4 captures, and I think in those 4 captures, when we watched the match, he was sitting their backline at 4 of those captures. So he's doing a lot of work. They're doing about 1/4 or almost 1/4 of the damage of the entire guild did. So he's doing a great job. He's fulfilling his role, which Bubba Cats trusts him to do, which is very good. And on the secondary map, Tyke, which is I think this is an RK, so he's probably in spear build.
Yes, he is
spear
the spear
build.
build. I know him very
And,
well. He's super strong. He's a good friend of us, and he's used to play with a friend called Sirgar here, and they always compete with each other. And you can see the spear build doing a lot of work. Spear build is something that our region is very, very good at, and you can see he was able to get 1/4 of the all kills from the subfield. So this is how good this guy is, and well, amazing player, both of them actually. And well, congratulations to Boba Cats to win the first match here. And well, but we still have more to go. And now the MVP for the whole first match is not on the other, but Ivitel.
Yep, and speaking of the RK, you know, it's about to get buffed. They're increasing the range and some damage, so RK buffs are coming. So that's going to be even more fun for Kai when that comes. Good job and congrats to Yiptal for getting the MVP. And I think I've been pronouncing his name wrong this whole time because you've been saying it one way and I've been saying it the other way.
I'm not really sure as well because it is a Pokemon, so it depends on the language. So it's very hard for us to actually say the same name. But well, either way, I think everyone knows who we're talking about. Ivitel, I'm not really sure. But either way, he's a very strong Shadow Chaser.
Very strong, and he's part of the Season 1 Thor's Cup winning team as well. Was one of the MVPs for that team. So he's putting in work, and with a 113 kill streak, I think, I mean, if I were to guess, I'm guessing most of those kills, or a good fraction of them, are probably priests. He's shutting down an entire backline. He's shutting down support, and that's causing Legion to have a hard time to recover. And Athena from Boba Cats with a high 37, almost 38 million heals and assist to Anjo. And this is interesting because Boba Cats runs a lot of support genetics. I mean, we saw those crazy fields, and to some, the impact might not be, you know, people who don't understand what's going on. We don't know, I mean, it's Boba Cats. We don't know what type of crowd control is coming. You don't know if people are getting blinded. You don't know if people are getting feared just by standing in those locations. So 138 assists means that whoever was standing underneath his skills, they were definitely getting punished one way or another.
Yes, and they are very, very good at swapping the stats because they had, like you mentioned, they had a lot of support, so they don't need to go everyone going for blind, everyone going for fear. They always have some players going for blind, some players going for fear, some players going for stun, because it's very important for you to have all kind of crowd control. And again, guys, thanks for the Razer Gold, for all the support, for all the sponsor they're gonna give. Without them, we would be here. And well, I was reading the chat here, and a lot of players are just cheering us for us, Rolo. I want to say some shout out to some players here: Pups, Lester, Baduk, Austri, Kenny, Einar, Luisa, Danilo, and all other fans here, guys. We are glad that you all here. Don't forget to share the stream. It's very, very good to have everyone here with us.
Yeah, we just want to have a good time, and look at these matches. I'm actually excited for the next match, and what is Legion gonna do? They have. I mean, this isn't their first time fighting Boba Cats. I think this may be one of the first times they ran this strategy. And you can take the best from it, and you can move on to the next match and try to improve from there.
Well, you're right, but before we go for the second match, guys, we have another gift code, and with this one, there is a question: which team are you cheering for? So don't forget to type on the chat for your favorite team. Send some good energy, especially if you are cheering for Legion, because they're gonna need it. They need to win the second game, otherwise Boba is going to win everything, and they will be the second grand finalist and going to Bangkok. So please send your energy. If you are a fan from Boba Cats, also send some love.
Yep, support your guilds, guys. It's always fun and very healthy for the community. And what do you think is going to change from game 1 to game 2, Sagara?
I think Legion is going to try to play together this time. I don't think they're gonna go for the split strategy again. Or if they do that, they will try to help group as fast as possible, because it's okay to try to go for 2 points. So just go for Sun and start again. That's okay, you got the Sun star. Now you need to understand that Boba Cat is going to try to get 1 point. You need to have this in mind. And you already saw that they play together. They always move as a unit. So what you can do, you can try to get 2 points and then move as a unit as well to middle. Try to contest the middle while holding 1 position, because they will have to send some players to hold the middle while getting another point. So maybe the split strategy is not going to be very good for Boba, because like we all saw, they are playing together. So we do not have certain that they will be able to actually pull off a good strategy when they are splitting the guild. But I think it's worth the try, because I don't think that Boba had to change anything here. They always did the same thing, always play together. They always run from 1 point to another one, and they were able to just overwhelm the Legion guys, because they never had enough manpower on the Star, on the Sun. And in the meantime, Boba Cats was always moving together. They always had at least 30 people running together. And when you have the numbers, when you have the power they had, it's going to be an easy sweep.
Yep, Boba Cats is extremely efficient when you move around the map. And then, I mean, Yveltal, Amabear probably also have Moonlight, so they're moving, and they're not the only ones, so they're moving very fast to try to achieve all the little objectives. And, and that makes a huge difference. When you do little, when Boba Cats does little things better than the other guilds, they'll make little positioning movements. They'll have more patience at certain times, like when we saw them wait before going on to a point that one person was trying to capture.
It was amazing.
Yep, you see them having efficient zoning tactics. You see their AoEs forcing players from Legion to back off. So they're just playing at a higher tier than a lot of the Legion players. But I think that's expected, because Legion is a newer guild, and part of the maturity that comes with playing against legacy players is that you see that a lot of legacy players, they understand and they mature, and they're like, okay, so not everyone gets to be a hero. We need players to play crowd control, and that's why you see a lot of top Boba Cats players playing crowd control and support roles, and I think that's a maturity piece that Legion needs to be able to adapt, if not in this next match, and in the future of Legacy as a whole, as a whole. Legion.
Yes, I totally agree with you, because it looks like they are lacking support classes here. They do have the power. We already saw that they even have more power than the Boba Cats, and we also know the names, so we know how good these DPS are. But it looks like they are always alone, because they are lacking support. In the meantime, when we talk about Boba, we always remember Skia, which is a support class. We always remember Amaber, which is also a very strong support class. Even the guild leader is not really a DPS. So you know that the players there, they have the position, they have the job, and they do the job really, really well. In the meantime, the guys from Legion, they need to change a few pieces, maybe put some support classes in the main field as well. And again, I think they need to contest the middle, and they need to do that really, really quickly. And if they don't want to go for the middle, they can try to split again, but in a different way. They need to split when the guys from Boba Cats is moving. So every time that you see the Boba Cats going for Sun, you can try to split and go into another position. Only let one party there defending or getting killed by the mob from the Boba Cats, and just run, go to the other side, go to Star, go to the middle, but try to capture as well. And again, guys, it's very important for you to have the initiative, and they didn't. That's why it was super hard for them to do anything. And again, guys, the third code is just showing you, and with the same question, which team are you cheering for? Don't forget to type in game. And now on your screen we have the two logos with the 5 elite members from both guilds, from Legion, from Boba Cats, and we are just a few minutes away from the second game, which can be the last game of our regional tournament here.
Yep, and this game is going to be all about who can control the field better. I think it's at this point it's very predictable of how both guilds are going to move. It's if Boba Cats manages to do the same thing they did last game, move as a big ball. Legion needs to be able to control that. They need to be able to place down frozen worlds. They need to be able to stop rotations, or they need to at least be able to. I think something that some guilds have done in global is they would pretend to take a point all the way till it flips, and right before it flips, they just get off. So they bait that, and they force the other guild to wait 5-6 extra seconds, and then that's just wasted time. So making opportunities like that, it's very the little things matter, and that's what is going to be changing the map in terms of how you control this game.
Yes, you're right. And one thing that we did mention here, and most of the players does not know, guys, for you to get points from the strongholds, from the capture points, you need to have 100% of the point. If someone enter the point and just leave, and you don't have 100%, you are not getting any points there. So sometimes you can even use this, you can just keep baiting. So if you are the weaker team, and you know the enemy always has 2 points, you can send one player to enter the point and leave. Especially against someone like Boba that always wait outside for you to start to flip the point before they enter. You could do that because they will have the same amount of tablets than you, and you'll be able to at least make closer. So keep always this in mind, guys. It's very, very important for you to try new things and also understand the mechanic of the map. So if you are the weaker guild, you can try to bait a stronger guild by just sending one player, enter the point, leave the point, enter the point, leave the point. So they never have 100% of the point, and they won't be able to get any point at all.
Yeah, and typically what you see, like these strategies that you're talking about, you actually see weaker guilds running it, which is interesting because when you play in weaker guilds, you're forced to learn those mechanics. You have to if you want to win.
Yes.
And then you're also, okay, so Yvital, he plays in Sugar, right? So
Yes.
he doesn't play, majority of the time, he doesn't play in Boba Cats. So he's forced to learn how to become a better player. He's forced to learn how to have better fingers. He's forced to learn how to really understand the meta. And just because he's always playing as an underdog. And so when he comes and moves to Boba Cats for tournaments like this, you can already see that he's performing as one of the best players in their guild.
Yes, and he's also one of the best performers in the whole game. Not only him, but Anjo is also part of his group. We saw Kaique as well. He also was part of Sugar. So you can see this player that is always playing against stronger competition. They make the player better because they need to actually play. They don't only rely on stronger players, on whales to carry them. They need to do their job. They need to do their part. So that's why they always put the numbers. And of course, the guys from Boba Cats are very, very good in strategic wise. That's why we already saw in this game how coordinated they were, doing literally everything, getting points, getting mobs, getting MVP. They are super well, and they have some amazing players as well.
Yep, and it really comes to playing in weaker guilds teaches you to go forward or not to go forward. Because if you make a mistake in a weaker guild, you're dead. But if you make the same mistake in stronger guilds, there's no punishment. So you become very disciplined, and that's what you see a lot of. I mean, a lot of these top performers are from Sugar, and they're doing very well in this competition.
Yes, you're right. And another thing that we did mention here, but the match that we had on Tuesday between Trinity and Eternity was kind of similar because two guilds on the similar level playing against each other will improve the gameplay overall, the team play overall, and the more time that you play together with the same players, the team play is going to improve by a lot. That's
Yep.
another very good reason why Boba Cats is playing way better than the Legion at the moment. But again, guys, Legion has the players. They do have what it takes here. All they need to do is try to adapt a little bit better. We know how capable these players are. We already know how strong is Vici, Nora, Joyceta, Henry, and everyone else. And you can see the sub-map, the subfield is able to actually get all the buffs. So they need to get a good start here again. And as soon as they get a good start, they need to regroup and then try to get another point. If they cannot get another point, they can try to split, but they need to do the first movement. They cannot wait for the Boba Cats to be proactive, because if the Boba Cats is proactive, the guys from Legion, they need to regroup and play together 100% of the time. Otherwise, it's going to be just like the first game.
Yep, exactly. And when you look at a lot of the Boba Cats players, all their shadow chasers are always at the back line. So Legion needs to they need to proactively address that. And if they can't, then their entire backline is going to get shot. And that's not a good answer when the entire Boba Cats front line is coming towards you at the same time.
Yes, and well, you can see the minimap. A lot of players are just entering now because they are using that old good strategy that you only enter when there is only 2.5 minutes left, because you can fulfill your whole buffs. Because there are a lot of players that enter as soon as the map open, and there is a 5 minutes cooldown, and 5 minutes is too long. So most of the buffs is going to get expired before the match starts. So you're gonna be weaker than your enemy, and it makes a lot of difference, especially in the first clash. So as much as you, if you wait a little bit longer, you'll be able to get full buff, and you will be on your full strength, especially because you're gonna have the Oblivion up, you're gonna have the red statue up, and everything. So let's check the movement on the minimap now.
Yep, you see a lot of Boba Cats going towards the left side of the map between Moon and Sun. I think earlier when you were talking, we missed a legendary teabag by Vici at the top middle when we were focused on this character. And in between Star and Moon, we have Legion trying to set up, and I think they're still moving and scouting at this point. So until the match comes into the final 30 seconds, we won't really know what guilds movements are going to be in. I mean, this time we don't really see Legion splitting into two. I think they're going to try to full force and fight Boba Cats as an entire guild, and hopefully that should give them the DPS to not only deal with Boba Cat's front line, but hopefully deal with Yveltal in the back line and Shadow and all the Shadow Chasers that are coming from Boba Cats.
Yes, you're right, and you can see that Boba Cats already adapted from the first match. Look at your minimap on bottom left. On the first match, Boba Cats didn't have anyone on the extreme left or extreme right. They were always focused between middle and sun. But this time they already did a lot of rotation between the sun, around the sun, because they need to be sure. They want to be sure they won't get a surprise attack by the Legion guys and lose again 2 tablets. So, well, it looks like it's going to be a fight between the Moon, and you can see the guys from Legion is between Star and Moon. And again, guys, the guys from Legion is the head dots on your minimap, and it is the green color on your top left. And the guys from Boba Cats is the orange on your top right and the blue dots. And the match is about to start.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge fight in the middle, with Boba Cats coming from all sides except the right side, and Legion is concentrated mainly on the right side, but we might be seeing some precast. We see statue skills dropping on top of both guilds. Yveltal coming from the south side, trying to hit Legion's bottom, and they're actually, you can see that Bobocats is already trying to zone Legion out. They're pushing them off from the corner. So we saw Legion coming in from one side, and I think Bobocats wanted that. They wanted Legion to come from one side just so they could force all their crowd control, all their frozen worlds, all their statue skills into one spot. And I think that punished Legion and caused them to lose the initial fight.
Yes, you're right, and all of that, they just entered from the top right, and as soon as they lost the position, they lost the first fight, they just got split again. So they need to regroup faster, the shot caller need to understand what happened and send players to actually to the other side. They cannot fight for star now, and look like they're just respawning on star for absolutely no reason. So huge mistake by the Legion guys, but let's see if they will be able to do a backup here, and look like they won. So it looks like they need to force the sun now, but there is only 3 people there. So if Bobacat is fast enough, they will actually defend the sun and get the 3 cap again. And another thing, guys, that we want to mention here on the first fight is the Legion. They only lost the middle because they sent 2 parties to star, and they were late to the rotation to the middle. In the meantime, Bobacat sent everyone to the middle, and only one person, one player, captured sun. And again, they 3 cap here.
Yep, and you can see that looking at the minimap, Boba forces are all centered in the middle, but we see Legion all over the place. So they need to be able to gather up, or else being split. And you see Beachy on the right side with Greggy by themselves. They are doing some damage, but you know, the thing about having only 2 people doing DPS is that one epic from an AB brings everyone back up. So he needs to have that. His guild needs to back him up. And that's not what we're seeing right now. We do see them respawning from the north side and trying to slowly gain ground, but Bobocat's main forces weren't even there, and they're coming now and punishing them. We get to see more crowd control and more space that's Bobocat's placing between both guilds, and slowly killing Legion and knocking their players out. Yveltal with a 30 kill streak, and it doesn't seem like Legion is spawning or trying to take Sun. Actually, they are trying to take Sun now, but it's only a small group of people, and Bobocats is slowly trying to counter them. On the star side of the battle, you see, over here you see Frozen Worlds being dropped onto the point, so that's a mistake from Legion. They should be trying to get that more to the left where they stop the rotation, just so they can stop Bobocats from coming at all. And that should give them and buy them enough time to conquer a point. It's just placement of their skills. They're not zoning them out like Bobocats is, so that's a skill that they're gonna have to learn and either pick up soon or in future competitions. So now you see Bobocats rotating back to the middle. They want Legion to take the Sun point halfway through before they can get it back. So they're very patient.
Yes, you're right, and they will be able to actually hold the Sun tablet as well, because again guys, look at the minimap, look at how split is the guy for Legion. Some players are just spawning on Star, some players are spawning on Moon, some players are spawning on Sun. And the biggest mistake here, they are spawning and running to the point, spawning and running to the point. They cannot do that, they need to regroup first. And again, they just lost Sun, so they cannot do anything on Sun, but most of them are spawning on Sun. So huge mistake, but then in the meantime there is only 3 players, maybe 2 players capturing the star, so it's going to be an easy backup from the Bobacat. Again, look at how many players is going to attack, only 2 players. So it's easy for the Bobacats to just auto-rotate the guys from the Legion. But now for the first time they have group on Sun, but they need to hold this. They need to use some Oblivion like Rolo mentioned, between the points, between the Moon and Sun, not on top of the Sun.
Yep, and something we have to see is that, I mean, we saw no crazy fields, we saw no crazy weeds, we saw no precast. I mean, we know where Bobocats is coming from, so something that we have to see is we have to see that precast and that defense set up by Legion, or else what's going to happen is Bobocats is just going to come in and they're going to drop their stuff, and that's going to punish the entire guild like it just did.
Yes, in the meantime, one party from Legion was able to capture Star. So now is the strategy, guys. This is what I was talking about. It's okay for them to split, but they need to send only one party, and all the main force, they need to be on the other side. And now is the most crucial part of the whole match for Legion. Only 12 seconds for the mobs, and look like they're going here on the top right already. But you can see on the minimap, all Bobacats is on top left, so they will probably be able to get all the mobs on top left. In the meantime, Legion will be able to get the mobs on top right. And on the bottom side, you can see that Bobacats was also able to get most of the mobs, because the difference in points just increased by the Boba Cats. In the meantime, over 100 kill streak already for Ivitel. I mean,
Yep, both the secondary fields have completed their objective. They both have secured the 8,000 points needed to get the buffs and the morale buffs. So at this point, a lot of the fighting is going to be primarily focused on the first map. Legion is having a hard time gathering. I think when they do gather, like they are gathered on Sun now, they're still, see how they're gathered up into like one small ball. Boba Cats is just punishing them for that. With AoEs, and you see at the north side, you see Shadow Chasers just hitting their backline. You see blue circles behind them on the minimap on Sun. So Legion is just constantly getting pincered again and again and again, and they need to be able to address that. They need to have at least VP, or they need to have a strong Warlock or some strong Shadow Chasers ready to fight whoever's trying to hit their backline.
yes, and now you can see they are again making another very easy mistake, guys. They're trying to capture the star, but it's going to be an easy backup for the Boba Cats because there is only 2 parties from Legion here. It's okay for them to do this, but I think it would be better do that strategy to only enter and leave the point. So actually Boba Cats won't be able to get any points from the start. But in the meantime, they're just going now focus on the Sun. But it was not enough as well because again, the backup from the Boba is faster than 1, maybe 2 players that are trying to get the point by himself. This shows that the guys from the Legion is not on the same page. There is always someone or maybe one party that is just doing all by themselves. They just try to capture and forget that if they start to flip and the other guilds just come and get the point, you're just going to lose everything. And again, you can see most of the guys from Legion is regrouping on Star, which is okay, good strategy. You can send one party to Sun now. That's the split strategy, because even if you lose the Star, you're going to be able to get the Sun. But it looks like they are not doing this. They are all focused on Star now, so they need to hold this. They need to use the Oblivion, they need to use the Crazy Read, they need to hold the Boba Cats outside. But again, Shadow and Ivitel is just doing so much work, and they already killing a lot of players. Even Jacob already got 30 kills here, and they will be able to actually defend the Star.
Yep, and I think one of the biggest issues that we see is that when Boba Cats is defending a point, you see them front facing. So they're facing where the enemies are coming and they're ready for a fight. But if you look at how Legion is positioning themselves when it comes to the points, they're hiding all the way in the back. And that's giving Boba Cats the room to come in and become the majority and slowly take that point back. So it's really their positioning alone is punishing them by letting Boba Cats come in and conquer points.
Look at the secondary stats field now. This time, even though Boba is losing by a lot in kills, they were able to get more minions than the Legion. So great strategy-wise for Boba Cats on the secondary field. So that's why they have a lot of points. In the meantime, in the midfield, they are doing the backup in the middle, and they are already ready for start. So what they need to do here, just close the moon and start to get ready to defend the star. As soon as it become green, they will enter the point and they will flip back. It looks like they're already doing. In the meantime, Ivitel already over 160 kill, 165. I mean,
170.
one spin.
It's a one.
Yes, one spin
170
is 10
kill streak.
Oh my god. And again, guys, look at the minimap. There is only one player from the Legion trying to get the Sun. That's why it's so easy for the Boba Cats to do the backup. I mean, they need to do this more coordinated. Otherwise, it's just going to keep happening all over the place, all the time. It's easy for Boba Cats to answer because, again, they are not doing anything so special. They're just moving together. All they need to do is moving together.
Yep, and look at over here in the shot fight just now. You see that Shadow tried to hit the back line for Legion, but this time they were ready. So Vici and Bregi were there, and as soon as Shadow came in, they shut him down and killed his priest as well. So it looks like they are doing minor adjustments, even though it might be a little bit too late in the game. But those little improvements is what eventually becomes huge later on. And you see, I mean, look at all the AOE on the ground. Very punishing for guilds who aren't. I mean, they're not doing it. So very punishing towards Legion.
Yes, and that is 5 seconds for the old Baron. Look at the position, guys. Even though the guys from the Legion is going for the middle, Boba Cats is already getting mobs on top right, top left, and they didn't even need the old Baron because they are able to win this, and they are our second grand finalists. Congratulations to Boba Cats for another great showing, and well, amazing strategy and super strong performance by the stars. I mean, I don't think he died at least once in this match. He was able to get almost 200 killing streak. I mean,
Yep, his kill streak was huge this match. I think he performed better this match than he did last match, or at least he was more uncontested. But yeah, congrats to Boa Cats for advancing to the next round for and being one of the representatives for the North American, Latin American servers.
yes, so congratulations to all of them. I'm sure they are really happy because well, we are from the same server and we know how hard they have been working, and they did want this spot to play on the offline, and I'm sure that both Boba Cats and both Trinity, they will represent us the better they can, and I'm sure that everyone here will also be cheering for them because this is a huge opportunity for any player that is going to go there and represent the entire region. They will have a lot of pressure, of course, but I'm sure that these players are very experienced, and both leaders will pick their best players, the players that actually understand the game, because as you mentioned, the rules is already out there. We already know how this is going to play out. It's going to be in a new server, so everyone is going to have the same power, same gears, everything will be the same. So it's going to be all about strategy, all about your gameplay and player skill. And well, we have our last code here, guys. So no matter, each match is glorious. So don't forget to redeem game. And if you don't know how to redeem, how do you do, Rolo, to redeem something in game?
Good question. I just hit buttons and eventually I get to the menu. But I hit the reward, go to redeem, and then you enter the gift code. I might have had to cheat in order to tell you the instructions by logging into the game. But yeah, it's you log in, get the code, get your free stuff, and I think congratulations against to Boa Cats. Definitely a guild that has worked very hard ever since the beginning of the server release. They've been working to win Odin's. They've been working hard to win Thor. So a lot of mechanically well-known players in that guild, and it's not a surprise that they have made it this far. But we're gonna now they're going into a new field. They're gonna have to learn 6 new classes. They're gonna have to learn all the skills. They're gonna have to learn all the mechanics. They're gonna have to learn. I mean, if there are features that are currently in global that we don't have right now, then potentially they're gonna have to learn that as well. So there's gonna be a big learning curve, and I think the competition is only in like 45 days or something close to that.
Yes, I mean, this server is going to open for every region in 14 days, if I remember correct, and then in 1 month is going to start the tournament. So they will have a few weeks to actually practice, understand the meta, create the meta if they need it, and I'm sure they will be able to do just fine, just like Trinity. But one thing that is we did mention enough, guys, is Legion. Legion put up a good fight. They were able to at least try different approach. You saw they try a different strategy in the beginning, and then they try a different strategy in the end. They even try something really different in the old Baron area. They try to go to a slow push instead of try to fight there because they were losing the fight, so they were a bit afraid. And it is okay, because when you are losing the front to front, you need to try something different, and they did try something different. It did work, but it's okay, it happens. I'm sure they will learn by the experience, and you saw how strong these players are, and well, we are looking forward, and I am looking forward to see how they're going to improve and what they're going to show in the next tournament, because they will always be one of the favorites, then the Boba Cats, Trinity, Eternity, and all the top 8. And well, congratulations again to Boba Cats, congratulations to Trinity. Both of you are our 2 grand finalists, and we have high hopes for you to represent us in the Bangkok, in the offline event.
Yep, and good job to Legion. I mean, out of all the guilds that made it to the top 4, I think Legion is one of the only non-Frontera server to make it, so that's a big deal. And I mean, not having that many legacy players too, which means that they work incredibly hard to make it this far.
Yes, you're right. And now you have the data from the main field here, guys. We have the total damage between these two. We also have the morale, and you can see that this time Boba was able to actually deal more damage and the amount of kill was similar. But one thing the Legion improved a lot was the monster kill. In the first match, Boba was able to get 51, if I remember correct, and this time
no,
Legion
yeah,
was able to get 40.
51.
Yeah, and this time Legion was actually able to get 13. And they tried something different. They tried the split strategy, send one party, but they were not very coordinated. That's why it didn't work that much. But at least they did try something different. And well, I'm really looking forward to see the subfield, because at one point during the match we saw the amount of kills the Legion had, but even having like double the kills of Boba Cats was even able to get more monsters. So this show how good strategic wise is Boba Cats in both main field and subfield. But either way, Legion was able to, at least on the secondary field, to put a lot of damage, and we're gonna see on the next screen very soon.
Yep. And I think comparing the first match to the second match, what we saw was in the first match, Legion tried to contest on all 3 points for mobs. They didn't do that in the second match. They focused on 2 instead of 3, and I think that focus really helped them get more kills and do better, at least on the monster kills. I mean, just like owning tablets, if you can't control 3 points, then you can at least try to control 2 and have more focus on that. And I think that really worked out for Legion.
Yes, you're right. And now on the secondary field, guys, again, check the amount of kills. Like I mentioned, at one point we saw the kills, and Legion was able to get twice the amount of the Boba Cats. But even then, the Boba Cats was able to get way too many monsters and more bosses. So it looks like the Boba Cats, even though they lost the fight, they were able to win the whole war, because they got what it matters, which is the boss. The boss can provide a huge boost on skills. If you get a Garm, you can frozen your opponent. If you get the Ifrit, you can send your opponent away. So it's very good for you to contest some specific points like the tablet, or like even the old barrel or mobs. And the last one, which is the Buffo. Buffo is the strongest buff because it can reduce the HP of the opponent in 50%. That's a lot, especially when you use it on old barrel. So great job by them. Great job by Legion to at least get a lot of kills. They were able to get 2 bosses as well. And the morale was kind of even. They got all the buffs, so congratulations to both of them.
Yep, and looking at the objectives of that match, when it came to a secondary map, even though Legion did get more kills, Boba Cats was able to keep up, because it's not a one. I mean, getting a kill gets you 1 point, but killing a mob gets you significantly more points. So even though they were only getting half the kills, they were able to achieve the objective of the secondary map purely from running objectives and killing mobs. And here is the MVP for this match, Yveltal, with 200 kills. And I don't think it shows deaths here, but I think we were guessing that he got 200 kill streak and no deaths. So he was moving around the map.
And for the subfield MVP is again Kaik, the Rune Knight. And guys, there is one fun fact for Kaik. He's actually a casual player now. So if a casual player is getting that amount of kill, imagine if he was playing serious. So congratulations to both of them, very strong. And the MVP of the other match is not the other, but Yveltal again with over 300 million damage. So, well, I want to see the killing streak because, like you mentioned, I think he didn't die a single time in the whole match. And now on your screen, yes, he did die. I mean, oh my God.
Yeah, wow. And then, yep, right behind him, with probably with a bond, is Ama Bear, just helping him survive, giving him more power, and with Athena getting almost 48 million healing. So overall, a good matchup. And I think something that I noticed in the matches is that when Boba Cat does roam, they do have their priest in the center of all of it spamming Highness Heal, so it's an AoE heal, healing their entire stack to increase their stack survivability. So good work to a lot of the Boba Cat's priests, really keeping their guild up and really helping them move forward.
Yes, you're right. And the new sigil from the High Priest is very important because it increases the survivability of the class, so it makes it even hard for you to kill them. And now we have the class distribution from both guilds. We can see that the guys from Boba Cat has 1 Guillotine Cross, 16 Ranger, 13 Rune Knights, 30 Shadow Chases. So that's why we mentioned they are all in on the meta. 36 Archbishop, 7 Mechanics, 19 Generic, and 27 Warlocks. And for Legion side, they had even more Shadow Chase. They had 37 Shadow Chaser, 1 Guillotine Cross, 10 Rangers, 19 Rune Knights, 34 Archbishop, 1 Mechanic as well, 19 Generic, and 29 Warlocks. So what do you think about the composition, Brolo?
In the composition for map 2 for Legion, you saw more Shadow Chasers, but on map 1, you definitely saw more Shadow Chasers on Boba Cat's side. So a lot of the strong players from Legion were playing Rune Knight, so not the meta class at the moment, and primarily because while Spear RKs are good, their biggest weakness is their cooldown. So as soon as they cast a spear and they're shooting out spears and that animation ends, they're just standing there. So meanwhile, on the other side, Shadow Chasers are constantly hitting you at 500 attack speed. So it's very punishing.
Yes, you're right. And guys, there is another code. I'm not sure if there is the same code that we just showed you last time, but if you did get this code, just go inside the game and redeem because it's super good. And as Rolo mentioned, the key part of the new class Shadow Chase and the reason that people are playing the class is because he does not have the downtime that the spear build from the Rune Knight has. So you can keep dealing damage and keep going in, go out whenever you want. But if you are a Spear Knight, you need to play on your cooldowns. Yes, you can deal more damage, you can be more bursts, you do more bursts as a Rune Knight, but it's harder for you to play and the DPS is a bit lower than a Shadow Chaser.
Yep, and I think it's also a skill shot. So if you're facing a certain direction and and someone else is right behind you, you don't hit them at all. So there's no auto targeting for that really. So it gets very punishing if you miss it. So if there's any latency or any lag, you will miss your target. So it could be a very punishing class.
Yes, you're right. And now that the meta is favoring the invisible class like Shadow Chaser, it's very hard for you to actually catch them because you're going to get hit without even seeing the opponent. So that's why the class is very, very good. And for the generic, you could see that both of the teams had 19 generic. But for the side of the Legion, at least on the main field, we did see many playing the magic build, which is the support build. And that's why it was super hard for them to actually hold the position, hold the rotation. And when you are playing a very strong, very coordinated guild like the Boba Cats, you need to have some classes that are doing the utility role, the support role. So some Crazy Weeds, some Oblivion, and also there are some classes like Mechanic that can put the Magnet Field. There is also a very OP skill in the game. 2 seconds, you cannot resist against this skill. So it's very, very important for you to actually use this skill. And another class that can also hold players is the Arlock itself. There is a specific build for you to do that, the Ghost build. Every time that you went on the Stellar form, the Ghost form, you can actually hold players in the same spot. So there's so many things that you can actually use to auto-rotate your enemy, but unfortunately, Legion was more focused on the DPS. They did have some very strong players, but I think they lack the support part here.
Yep, but I think in the second match we did see a lot of adjustments that they did.
Yes.
They tried to cover their backline more. I mean, they weren't able to kill Yveltal, but I did see Shadow go down when he tried to hit their backline. So we see improvements that they're trying to make. It's just not enough. I mean, it's not something that happens overnight. So you have to make entire build changes. You have to make entire roster changes. And I think 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes is not enough to do that. So hopefully we see more changes as Legion comes into future tournaments. But I think they definitely could. They definitely are a strong candidate for someone who can win entire tournaments if they fix a lot of things. It's a lot of layers that Boba Cat has established over the last few, I mean, I wouldn't say months, but also years because they've been playing for a while. They have their rocks. They have strong parties who are playing risky roles, but it's paying out. Like Yveltal, who's hitting Shadow, who's hitting their backline. You have and here it is. The 2 guilds are representing the North American and South American servers, Trinity and Boba Cats.
Well, you can see even the names that are on your screen now. So every player here is important for the guild. Every player did their part, and everyone here deserves the spot on the grand final. So we're gonna see all the names going up. You can see BB Drill, Bellion on the both sides, Beowulf, Bluebell, Bladito, BTK, Blue, Bolacha, Cello, Shishira, and so many other players. I know that some of them are very, very famous. Some of them are even streamers. Some of them are on Discord. By the way, if you did join our Discord yet, please join. Another thanks to our very good sponsor, the Razer Gold. And well, the names keep you up.
Yep, a lot of names that I think. Well, if I know the Frontera 5 names. You know the Frontera 4
Yeah, I
names.
know the Frontera Force, exactly.
Yeah, both
And
the servers I play in are representing. So I mean, it was a thrilling game on Tuesday, Trinity against Eternity, and then another thrilling game that we saw with Bubba Cats and Legion. Legion making a lot of adjustments trying to counter Bubba Cats, but it did not work this match.
yes, and you can see that both guilds play a very different play style. You saw that Trinity was playing more two tablets. Only on the second game they went for the 3 cap, but Boba Cats, they were all on the offensive since the first game. They were able to 3 cap and hold most of the time the 3 cap because Legion was just not reading the game right. But well, congratulations to them. And well, we are seeing just freedom here now. Pili, Pyro, Pikachu. We still have a lot of Pokemon names that is Boba is still using from the Odin Cup. And on the side of Trinity, we see some really good players, some really famous players as well. We have Salvador, Saya.
Yeah, lots of good players. I mean, I see a lot. I saw Reader. I saw Simulio. I see a lot of players who were in the original NA server. But like, let's congratulate Trinity and Boba Cats for making it to the next round. A huge win, and hopefully in the next month that they are able to practice a lot and hopefully win and for NA and South American servers in the Valhalla Cup against against Asia.
Yes, imagine a finals between Boba Cats and Trinity in Bangkok, in Thailand. That would be everything for us in our region because it would just show how strong is our region, even though we are behind in some content, and this is going to show how good we are in adapt to new play style, to create new metas. Because well, these two guilds are very, very good, and they know their stuff. They just came to the tournament prepared, really well prepared, because well, they won everything and they won in a very good fashion way. So in a few days they will be able to go to use the client to create their new accounts, to practice that, and we're probably going to know some results, some new gossips, and everything that is going to come up during this day because they're always going to post on our Discord. And now, guys, our region is the first one to have decided the 2 finalists. So the NASA has the 2 grand finalists on Trinity on the top right and Boba Cats the bottom right.
Yep, and I'm confident they're going to do well. They have a lot of solid players. And I think when it comes to the practice servers, these 2 guilds are definitely going to be practicing a lot against each other. And hopefully we can connect with the Asian guilds to also do some scrimmages. So I think that there's room for that as well.
Oh yes, it's very important for you to actually share some experience because every experience is a good experience to the whole region overall, especially because there are 2 different servers, guilds from Guild for Frontera 4 and Guild for Frontera 5. So both guilds going to bring a lot of new stuffs, and for our server that are still behind the content, we also going to learn a lot by watching all the players playing the tournament. We're gonna witness some new classes, we're gonna witness some new gameplay, some different builds, and I'm sure that we are going to learn a lot by just following these amazing players from these amazing guilds.
Yep, and perhaps the advantage that we have is that it's a fresh perspective for the North American, South American servers. You might not be running meta, but it might just work. So we won't see until we get to see the actual matches on December 7th and December 8th.
Yes, you're right. And well, talking about the meta, the C server, even though when they had the similar patch that we did, they were running a completely different meta than us. So this showed that we're just not going to mimic what they're doing. We always trying to create new things. We are always trying to learn new stuffs. So maybe the meta that we create is going to be better than the meta they will create, and we will be able to actually go all the way through. Maybe, like I mentioned, maybe we have 2 finalists in a cross-region competition, and that would be, well, something memorable.
Yep, that'd be amazing. And it's ultimately going to come to understanding of mechanics. Oh, here's going to be one of the gift codes. So please
Oh,
go ahead and take in this gift code. Let me see. I think I've seen something similar to this, but all of them have been very close. QAZXSWEDCB. Go ahead and copy that down and claim it and redeem it in game.
yes, all
But
right.
yeah, it's
then.
going to become. Yeah, it's going to come down to mechanics, understanding of mechanics, and play style, how they play. It's like I said earlier when Boba Cats was playing against Legion. It's the little things that matter, little positioning differences, little zoning differences. Those little things make a huge difference. They add up over time. And I think our players, even though we haven't been playing this server for long, the legacy players, I think are both in Trinity and Boba Cats, and they both may be representing these guilds as well when it comes to the Valhalla Cup in December.
Yes, you're right. And I'm sure that the leaders is going to have a huge task ahead of them because you can only send 10 players. So when you have an amazing group like both guild has, it's going to be really, really hard for the leaders to actually choose only 10 players. So they're going to have access to the server and they're going to practice there. But before we continue, another thanks for the Razer Gold support, for their sponsor. Without them, this tournament would be a success. And well, anyway, guys, another congratulations to both guilds. It was a huge, huge pleasure to be here with all you today and with my good friend Rolo. And I'm looking forward to watch the grand final and the offline event. And I hope to see everyone there. Bye bye, guys. Thank you, everyone.
Yep, thank you guys. Good night. And hopefully we'll see everyone again for the Valhalla Cup offline competition if it's streamed online. And be sure to follow the RRO on Facebook or their Discord. Thank you and good night.
Thank